What's up, guys? It's the Four Horsemen Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Josh Romine. With me tonight, I got the usual guys, Alex Devaney Stoner and Brent Walker. How are you two?
Yep.
We're gonna do it.
We made it. One of these days, like, I wonder if we're ever going to be the Four Horsemen. Like,
well, do you think we should change our name to the Three Horsemen? The Three Amigos.
Three Amigos. I like that.
It's got a nice ring to it. We're short Josh Van Cleve. Unless we start recording the podcast at 5 p.m., he's probably not going to make it anymore.
Yeah. Yep. It's really hard. I'm not quite sure why his body cannot run on 6 hours of sleep. I can sufficiently run on 3 to 4 because I'm a man. Flat out, I'm a man. But let's start talking some football.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about people not being able to sleep.
Well, not to mention this show is going to be our rookie running back show. So kind of a big deal. Very, very important. This has been a hyped up class. We're going to talk a little news first, but we'll get through that quickly and then get on the running backs because I know all three of us are pretty excited for this show. Before we get into it, hop on Twitter, follow us, Four Horsemen Pod. Send us emails, fourhorsemenpod@gmail.com. We did gain about 5 new Twitter followers. So
snap.
Yeah. We're very thankful for you guys. So keep spreading that word. Get it out there. We really appreciate it.
We need to start learning how to say that phrase in Russian and Japanese. Because for some reason, some reason we're huge. We're huge over there. I don't know what it is.
We're kind of like the Beatles.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what we are.
Kind of a big deal. All right. Yeah. Let's get into the news. Dallas Cowboys released Dez Bryant.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. Are you really?
No. Wait. Sorry. I'm shocked that he's still available.
Yeah, that he hasn't been signed yet. That I was kind of surprised.
Honestly, I thought as soon as he hit that day, who I don't know. He hasn't been a major distraction lately. And I think that the frustrations that he has had are completely warranted. I'm flat out saying right now, Dak Prescott is not a good quarterback. He's garbage. Okay. The fact that everybody just thought he was so amazing, it's like that was all a fluke. And guess what? He's going to be one of the in the bottom half of your starting quarterbacks. Right now, he's not a QB1. You do not want to start him as a QB1. And he's a game manager at best. So it makes sense that they got rid of him because they need to get guys. They need to get guys like Landry. They need to get those kind of guys so that they can make Dak Prescott more, worthy of of being a quarterback. You can't get the ball downfield.
Cole Beasley could be a wide receiver 1 this year.
Alan Hearns, baby.
I'm saying that. Well, what happened to Cole Beasley last year? He disappeared. You guy didn't show up for class at all.
I'm not gonna lie. I honestly have no idea what Cole Beasley did last year, stat wise. I have no clue.
I would guess maybe 300 yards. Hold on, let me look it up. Let's talk about something. I'll look.
All right. Well, I was kind of gonna say, related news. The Giants released Brandon Marshall today. They were kind of talking. I know there was talks of Dez Bryant going to the Giants at first. Like, could that be a landing spot?
Why? Like here, Brent, go ahead. I'll go second.
I mean, there were rumblings of the Giants. There was the Packers, the Bills, the Ravens. All these teams are needing a wide receiver. Giants, though, would be kind of intriguing just with the new coaching system there, and they already have Odell Beckham, but bringing in Bryant further draws coverage away from Odell Beckham. You already have Evan Ingram there, and you could draft Saquon Barkley. What's the biggest issue? That'd be Eli Manning then.
Yes. I don't think they're drafting Barkley.
that's my biggest issue right there. Is I don't like the fact that you have these two great wide receivers and a scrub quarterback. I mean, Eli Manning is a scrub now. He is. I don't even know if I want him as a QB2. I mean, that's how bad he is now. You know, we're not talking about the same guy that was in the 4,000s anymore. You know, we're talking about a guy that's going to put up low threes,
like
and
Taylor.
Basically,
but worse.
Yeah. Well, and Brent, you mentioned a couple other teams. The Bills. I don't want him to go to the Bills either. Like I want him to go. Is the Ravens kind of intriguing? A little bit. I will admit, but at the same time, he doesn't really have the speed that he once had. Yeah. And Joe Flacco's garbage.
Yeah.
So like all these places that it's like, oh, he could go somewhere like a Green Bay. That would be interesting.
Well, of course, anybody tied to Aaron Rodgers would be,
But I mean, it's not just the Aaron Rodgers. It's like it's Des Bryant and Aaron Rodgers would be very interesting, because I think that what has happened to Des Bryant's career is an unfortunate circumstance of Dak Prescott.
Sure. Well, and I really personally don't want Des Bryant to go to the Packers just for like Devontae Adams value, because I think it would take away from that.
Yeah, it sure would. Yeah,
but
because Aaron Rodgers can't spread the ball out. Like it's I don't know. There's always one guy lately. There's one guy that does really well, and the rest just kind of putts around.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of Dez going to the Packers, and I think it would increase Adams' value only because Randall Cobb is the slot guy. They need a number 2 there, and that
you think Des Bryant could be the number 2?
Okay, think of this. Okay, Aaron Rodgers has sustained 2 wide receivers in Green Bay for his entire career for fantasy, and remember James Jones? That's all he really was a red zone touchdown guy. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what Des Bryant is. He's not a chain mover anymore. He just catches touchdowns.
But all that's going to do is take away touchdowns from Adams. I don't think it's going to boost Adams' value at all. It takes touchdowns away.
No, it won't boost it, but I don't think it brings it down.
It'd be good for Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know. I think we could sit here and speculate about it all night, but until we really find out where he's going to land, like it really doesn't even matter. Like it's just fun to talk about.
Yeah.
And plus, Brent, you're wrong. But
clearly.
Let's move on to the next piece of news. Unless you found something out about Cole Beasley, was he?
Cole Beasley had 312 yards, and the year before that he had like 840. So big dip. Big dip for Cole.
Don't be looking for a ton more. He's a slot guy. He's not going to be a number 1. But Denver Broncos released C.J. Anderson.
Doesn't move the needle for me at all.
Yeah.
Devontae Booker time?
No.
I was going to say.
No.
Maybe a rookie. Like
it's going to be a rookie. Unfortunately, Devontae Booker, has been given an opportunity multiple times. He doesn't take the baton. I was a big Devontae Booker fan with him coming out of college. No go.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a rookie that takes that over. He might start the season, and he might be worth grabbing and stashing on your team. But don't count on anything. Don't hope for anything. And as far as C.J. Anderson goes, garbage. He's gonna be a backup.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And we can talk more about Denver's possible rookie landing spot when we get into these rookies here in a minute. So we won't dwell on that either. Saints officially sign Cam Meredith. The Bears didn't match the offer. Were you guys surprised that the Bears didn't match it? Or
kinda, yeah.
What do you think that? He's got value. I mean, anybody attached to Drew Brees, you would think has some sort of value.
Yeah, I mean, and he was a quality wide receiver when he was playing for the Bears. I was really shocked that they let him go. I mean, that offense was starting to rise up a little bit. Why not just pay the guy a little bit? You had the cap room.
Right.
You let him go to the Saints, an NFC team, so you could be playing him. one day.
Yeah.
I thought maybe like if he didn't come back from that injury, right? I mean, he passed his physical, obviously, but I thought maybe there was something more to it. But just the Bears, they have Allen Robinson, and then what? Like Kendall Wright.
Well, I mean, okay. First off, they still have White. So technically, I mean, I think that probably part of their thought process is, all right, we've got, Allen Robinson, a proven commodity. We have Kevin White, who by all accounts was supposed to be this freak athlete, but can't stay healthy. So we draft a guy in the second or third round, and then we can have a competition. And then you got maybe Kendall Wright in the slot, which is probably where he belongs anyway. Mm-hmm. You've got 2 tight ends. I mean, I think that they have options.
Yeah, and Taylor Gabriel too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so they have options. As far as Meredith over in the Saints, I'm really negative about any wide receivers on the Saints. I don't like their consistency. Outside of Michael Thomas, I really don't care.
Yeah. Brent, you agree?
Yeah. I mean, let's hope Willie Snead comes back this year. I miss him.
Yeah. 9 catches.
What's going on with Willie Snead? I haven't seen anything else. Didn't he say
he's going to be an elite.
Is he playing for the Saints then?
Yeah. And he's going to be elite.
I thought he wanted out or something.
Well, he wants to be elite, and he's going to be.
All right. Well, let's keep on the kind of the Bears track there. The Bears say that they're not releasing Jordan Howard. They're not training him. They're trading him, not releasing. But per the Bears Twitter page, when Coach Matt Nagy was asked if Jordan Howard is their feature back, he responded, "Absolutely." Is that coach speak, or is there something to it?
Coach speak. You're not shopping a guy if you like him.
Right. I don't know. What do you still think that they're going to do something with him, or do you think he's going to be a Bear? Alex.
I think he's probably going to be on the team. I wouldn't be shocked if maybe next year they try to get something out of him. I mean, this is kind of a prove it year, honestly, for Jordan Howard. He's kind of been inconsistent, but he's shown that he can really carry the offense. Mm-hmm. But then he's also kind of shown that he can kind of drop off. So I think that, I think he's just going to be kind of one of those guys that hovers around 1,000 yards, but never does anything that's amazing. Yeah.
He hasn't been able to catch, which in the NFL today is a really big deal for running backs.
Yeah.
It really caps his value, I think.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, you're completely right.
Brent, totally right. What do you have any say on old Jordan Howard there?
He just doesn't fit their system very well. I mean, Tariq Cohen fits their system better than Jordan Howard does. But at the same time, I still think he's probably going to end up being a Chicago Bear when the draft is over. He's still going to be the feature back. Could they trade him? Sure, they probably could, but
they're not going to get anything for him.
Yeah,
I mean,
what are you going to get?
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, I just thought it was kind of interesting, but we want to talk about these rookie running backs. So let's move into that. Let's just go ahead and dive in because the draft is next week. A week from right now.
Well, okay, real quick.
Yeah.
Do we even really need to talk about Barkley? I don't want to waste a bunch of time.
No, I don't think we've talked about Barkley a lot anyways.
Guess what? He's going to be amazing. As long as he doesn't get hurt, he's going to be this generation's AP. That's
sure.
Flat out, that's my thought process.
We'll just go ahead and say that if you are drafting in a rookie draft, don't even think about taking anybody else. Barkley is clearly the number one pick. So
I don't know if I don't know if there's been I guess Zeke was a pretty clear pick, but I even with Zeke, I had a lot of questions about Zeke. Watching some of the video, some of the film and things like that. Like I had questions. I have zero questions about Barkley.
Well, and we've already said it multiple times. It doesn't really matter landing spot. Like the worst landing spot for Barkley, and he's still going to be a desirable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Client. So
we should also say that all three of us did go to the NFL Combine this year, got into the stadium, and watched all of the running backs work out, do the 40, all the drills. So we were there. We watched all these running backs.
And Barkley looked amazing.
But he was so fast.
There were some other guys that looked good too.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's like one of those things. Like Barkley, it's like he went to the prom and made everybody look like garbage. You know what I mean? Like Barkley looks so good that everybody else looked like crap.
He was like when a celebrity goes to like an actual prom.
Yes.
Like, everybody else is dressed up, but like you're like, oh my God,
it's like a girl taking JT to the prom and all the other guys just basically leave. Like there's no point.
All right. Well, let's Brent, who do you want to talk about? Who, like, other than Barkley, who's your most hyped guy right now?
I know this one. Oh, don't be coy. You know you want to talk about Penny.
I mean,
you want to talk about Penny.
I feel
that's
like,
your boy.
I feel like, okay, so there's like 4 top running backs, and I feel like Penny is slowly crept up into a now top 5 running backs.
Yes,
I feel like he is the new 5th guy that's going to be drafted here. I don't think after the 5th guy, though, all the other guys kind of fall into a different tier. Penny, he didn't get a lot of hype pre-combine, but he had one of the statistically best seasons in college last year.
Yeah,
I think he rushed for over 2,200 yards last year alone, which was crazy.
That's insane.
That's huge. And I don't know. He's got a 3-down skill set. He is kind of a prototypical size back. I think he falls in line with the other top 4 guys up here. Maybe not Barkley, of course, but could you see Penny possibly outscoring some of these other guys in the top 4? Yeah, I do. Yeah. He could easily be the top 1 or 2, in my opinion.
Sure,
but it's close. This 2 to 5 range is real close to me.
I was gonna say our top 5 is Barkley, obviously number 1, and then the next 4 you got Darius Geis, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb, and Rashad Penny. So, like you said, Rashad Penny's been the most productive, like as far as like pure rushing. Like he was a beast at San Diego State.
The only downside I see with him, which actually could cause problems, is he is probably the worst pass protector out of those 5.
Literally the worst. Maybe the worst in the last 3 years.
He might be he might be one of the worst pass protectors out of all the running backs in this class. He doesn't really learn well either, and that might cause him to get early playing time. But if he can get stuff figured out, he's got a 3-down skill set that could become a starter.
Oh, yeah. As a rusher, like he is amazing to watch too. But then you see those, I've seen like a little compilation of him missing blocks, like turning sideways, like avoiding contact. It's ugly. Yeah. It's bad. And in the NFL, that's going to get you on the bench. Like,
that's a quick trip to the bench, especially depending on what team. Oh, yikes.
But if he falls in the right spot, Brent, I think you're right. I think he definitely deserves to be in the conversation of those top 5 guys, and he's going to be a first round rookie pick for sure right now.
Yep. And he had a good combine too. Like he was one of those guys I really wanted to look at and see what he does on the field against all the other guys, and he impressed me. Like, I was pleasantly surprised with Rashad Penny.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything to hurt his stock for sure. It's only gone up. So, Alex, I was just going to say, like, we talked about Penny. Who do you want to talk about next out of that top 5?
I mean, I have been preaching about Nick Chubb. Basically, like, he was who I was waiting for. Like, last year, you know, I was just waiting for Nick Chubb to come out of college. You know, he suffered that injury that kind of derailed him a little bit. but last year, I mean, he had 1,300 yards. You know, he looked like he could be a feature back. And honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that on the other side was Sony Michel, like, you know, are these two guys, you know, you gotta, like, you can't help but look at them side by side. And either one of those guys, they both had right around 1,300 yards, right around like 13, 12 touchdowns. So, I mean, extremely productive. And so, you know, I just have had this gut feeling about Nick Chubb. And if he goes to the right place, I think he's going to really put on a show.
And I really like Nick Chubb too. It's just so hard to rank him above other guys that I just like better. Like, there's nothing wrong with him at all, but it goes to show you these top 5 guys are just so loaded right now. But Nick Chubb, you know, after he blew out his knee in 2015, didn't look right in 2016, finally looked like he was that elite back again last year. You know, his only issue was he was splitting time with 2-3 other great running backs.
Right.
This very much reminds me of when Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon both came out last year. Both, you know, teammates coming from the same college, both coming out for the draft. And the biggest comps I'm getting with Nick Chubb right now is just a bigger, better version of Samaje Perine. It's not a bad comp.
I was gonna say, you make it feel make it sound good.
Because scouting, I know, right?
But, well, remember, at this time we were just drinking from the Perine Cup.
I remember.
We were all just like, oh, this guy. And when he landed in Washington, we're like, score. He's gonna take over. He's gonna be amazing. And and then in preseason, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you don't gotta tell me. I had both my hands on that Samaje Perine Cup. I couldn't drink it fast enough.
I couldn't.
But like you kind of already alluded to it, but you know, Sonny Michel on the other side, some people are even more hyped about him. You guys think that they could both be great NFL running backs?
I do, yes.
I do.
Sony Michel, I think, is just a little more of a complete back than Nick Chubb. I think he's got better passing down skills, and he's really good against in pass protection as well. The one thing I didn't like about Sony Michel is he didn't have that great of a combine. I thought he really kind of disappointed, didn't look as fast, didn't look at that explosive, but what it reminded me of quite a bit from last year, though, was Dalvin Cook, who was also a 3-down skill set. So he reminds me so much of Dalvin Cook. And what did Dalvin Cook do this year? You get him in a right situation, he can take that job and run with it. And that's what I love about Sony Michel. He could do the exact same thing, just depending on what team he goes to.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Like, you know, there are those guys that, you know, the last 2 years we've been so excited about, and last year the big letdown was Dalvin Cook, and you know, we saw what Dalvin Cook could bring to the table before he got injured, and that was, you know, top 5 running back. Like, if Dalvin Cook brings what he brought last, you know, if he's fully recovered, he could be a top 5 running back. And I agree that, you know, when you kind of look at Sony Michel, could he be this year's Dalvin Cook, like that guy that, you know, has all the things that you want in a running back and can put up huge numbers for you in the fantasy game? I completely think that he could be that guy.
Yeah, I agree. Like, and I think that it's a very similar feeling. Like you guys said, like he lost a little bit of the shine. You know what I mean? Like everybody was so hyped about it, and then you go to the combine, and that's what you're thinking about. It's recency bias. It's the last thing that's in your head. You can't go wrong drafting him. The last guy in that group is Darius Geis. Alex,
basically the number 2 guy. He's an interesting one because I've been looking at mock drafts, and I just saw one that just kind of blew my mind from Daniel Jeremiah. Has him at number 13 overall going to Washington. Mm-hmm. That's way too high, in my opinion. I don't think that, most of the time when he was creeping into the first round, it was those last 5 picks. It was Philadelphia. It was Tennessee for some reason. So I was seeing him, but in the later part of the draft, if he starts going that high, I don't know. I want him to go to a team that really needs him, but also is a little more stable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about him going to I don't know, if he falls into the second round and the Browns don't take a running back and he's sitting there, I could see him going to the Browns. I could see things like that happening, or the one that I saw where he goes to Tennessee. I've just seen some crazy stuff with guys that kind of gives me pause, even though mock drafts are completely made up. They're just but the fact that it's oh my gosh, that he could really go some of these places and that would be horrible. But having said that, he has all the skills. And you really can't go wrong after Barkley with these 4 guys that we're talking about, because Brent and I have discussed they're the right size. They're
mm-hmm.
prototypical size, weight, height. Overall, they're running backs. So I think that you really can't go wrong with any of those 4 after Barkley, because all of them could be starters. All of them.
Right. Yeah. Right. And all of them could be behind the guy too. The way that's just the way the NFL goes. You got to wait and see where these guys are going to land before you can rank them accordingly. Right now they're all grouped.
We can't. Well, real quick, we'll just throw it out there in our league that we basically make up all the rules to. We are blind drafting the first round. And I mean, it's pretty much, it's falling in line. Everybody knows what the first 5 picks are. Well, I assume that Brent is going to go Penny. But Barkley, Geis, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb, Penny. Mm-hmm. And after that, and I think that we're going to get into it here in just a minute, it's that after.
Yeah,
after the 5, let's say we're talking in an 8-team league with us. You're in a 12-team league. Some of these running backs are going to have to go in that space. Who are you selecting?
Some wide receivers are creeping up there too, which we'll talk about next week. But
for sure. but Brent, I've got to ask you, after you have those guys, and let's say you've got, you're craving running back. You don't want to go wide receiver. What's a guy after all those other guys, those 5 are gone? Who are you looking at?
It's kind of a tie between all of them, but
how many? First of all,
it's probably about 4 to 5 of them. I'm thinking. Okay, it's right on that verse. So
Ronald,
I'm thinking there's. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you go Ronald Jones, Josh. I'm not doing this in an actual order. Josh Adams, Kerryon Johnson, and Royce Freeman. I don't know if you throw John Kelly into that or not. I feel there's a drop off. I feel like there's a drop off after John Kelly.
Really?
Or after Royce Freeman. I'm sorry. I think there's a drop. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure.
To a certain extent, you're right. But if John Kelly goes to a certain team, he's so good in the passing game. He's a little undersized and needs to add a little weight to carry a 3-down workload or maybe that early down workload. But he could do it. He just needs to add a little weight.
Yeah, don't sleep on John Kelly. Like, he's gonna be that guy. Like, I think he definitely belongs in that group. And I get what you're saying, Alex, but like, he's so talented.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing is that he's got, and I completely understand that really you shouldn't look at this because, you know, San Diego State, who cares about San Diego State? But when I look at and I see John Kelly going to Tennessee, like it's almost like it's like this little security blanket where it's like, oh, okay, he went to a real school, you know, like that was my big thing about Trubisky was because
he was
like
backing up Kamara last year,
right?
Yeah. So
exactly,
but honestly, I'll be completely honest about this. I don't feel comfortable drafting any of those guys. I feel very comfortable about those first 5. As soon as we leave Rashad Penny, I'm like, this is a crapshoot because these guys are going to start as backups, more likely than not.
So would you rather have those guys, or would you rather have one of the top wide receivers in this rookie class?
Okay, are we talking dynasty or are we talking redraft?
I'm talking dynasty.
Okay,
dynasty.
Okay.
That's what most of the rookie drafts are. So.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I just love running back so much, but I think that you have to start looking at like a Ridley or something along those lines to that, you know, because do you grab a quarterback? Like, is it too early to grab a quarterback in like the middle of the first round of a rookie draft? Do you guys
I've
feel
seen
like
people do it, but it depends.
Obviously,
on
it depends on your
league,
format.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I would be able to make a really informed judgment, honestly. Like I feel like no matter what, I'm looking at these guys because I can rank those top 5 like without really any hesitation. The only 2 that it goes back and forth is Chubb or Michelle. You know, how are you going to go with those guys? I feel a little bit better about Kerryon Johnson, but that's just a hunch. Right. I don't think that there's anything that really says, okay, this guy is better than this guy who is better than this guy. You know, I think that I would probably end up going with a wide receiver in the back end of this because it's just, I just don't like it. Well, I don't like the fact that I'm going to have to wait for a wide receiver. But I think that some of these guys that we're talking about might not even play that much. I don't know. What do you think?
I disagree. Like it does have a lot to do with where they land. But I feel like if these guys land in the right situation, it might not be, you know, an every down back. We'd love for all of those guys to land in a situation where they're going to be able to have that. It's not possible. There's not that many jobs in the NFL, and that's really goes against what the NFL is doing nowadays. Like most teams don't have a back that's an every down back. So but the question was not could they be good, but right at this point, would you take a wide receiver instead of kind of rolling the dice? Because don't you feel like it's a little bit after those first 5, you're kind of rolling the dice at that point? Yeah, I just with this wide receiver class that's coming out, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it is about it that I just don't feel great. Like,
I hate it.
You don't like it at all? Yeah.
No, I don't like it at all. Which probably means there's going to be 4 or 5 guys that come out.
Yeah, right.
Because I felt so good about, you know, Treadwell and Doxson and Davis and John Ross. Like, so excited.
Right.
And but again, you know, we're talking about year 1 or year 2. Traditionally, wide receivers don't really start taking on like getting their stride going until year 3. It's not going to be Julio Jones. It's not going to be Odell Beckham every time. I don't see that guy in this draft, so you're probably going to have to sit on him.
Yeah, and you're probably right. Brent, you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of number 2 wide receivers in this class.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, some of them may potentially be a number 1. We'll see.
Okay, so we've basically kind of knocked out the first 10 here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a guy that, and we could, because I was talking to Brent about it, and I was talking about it during the combine. My guy that I was really interested in, that was kind of on the outside looking in, was Bo Scarborough.
Mm-hmm.
He had a terrible combine, awful combine, but there's still something in my head that's like, maybe, like he's got the size. Like if he could get in the right situation and get coached up a little bit, I think that maybe he could be good. What guy do you see, given the right situation, could be a good pick?
Brent, you can go ahead and answer that.
I mean, Scarborough just looks so sluggish at the combine.
So bad.
Even his pass catching and like the drills were just not good. Like I really thought it dropped his stock from like maybe a 4th rounder down to maybe a 6th or 7th rounder. Like it just wasn't good at all for him. My guy was Josh Adams. Like he comes from Notre Dame, had a very prolific college career there in a run-heavy system. So he's got a little bit of mileage, but, man, he did so much work there, both in the pass game and the running game. But he is a very big running back, very muscular running back. He's, I think, 6'2", 230. Like, he's a big dude.
Sexy. We were just a few feet away from him. He is gorgeous.
Oh,
he is gorgeous.
I feel like if he were to even take a backup spot, give him like a year to develop, and this guy could really take off, I think.
What's happened to his stock? Because honestly, about 3 or 4 months ago, but his size has been his size from the get-go. Like I was seeing him as high as like 3rd out of this class, and now, I mean, okay, this NFL thing is totally screwed up. But he's ranked like 23rd. Like, there's, first off, not correct. NFL.com, get your crap together, because that's
23rd
ridiculous.
Running back.
Yes,
rookie running back.
That's dumb.
He's only 4 spots ahead of a guy that had 8 rushing yards last year. So I mean, yeah, completely ridiculous. But I feel like he's a guy that where you see Penny going up because his skill set is really good. I kind of feel like Adams is trailing off, but could catch on, could just blow up. Because I think he is the one that deserved to be in that kind of top 5 area, and now all of a sudden has kind of dropped out. And I think that he could be a starter. I really do.
Yeah, it's almost like he's a tweener. Like he's got the size of a wide receiver, but has the power of a running back. And he's just in that middle range where, I don't know, scouts know what to do with him. Like maybe that's why he's falling below some of these other running backs. But he kind of reminds me a lot like Jordan Howard a few years ago, when Jordan Howard started slipping a lot in rookie drafts. And he slipped all the way down to, in the NFL draft, he was a 5th or 6th rounder, I believe. But he's a starter for the Bears now. So I feel like Josh Adams could do that very similar thing, but maybe have to take on a backup role this year.
Well, and I mean, okay, so, one thing I'm kind of surprised, he's only 213. Like that. That's actually pretty light. Like that's really lean for.
That's what I mean. He's
for
like
6'2".
a wide receiver.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess I understand that. Now, if he were to maybe add 5 to 10 pounds, I think, you're talking about a guy that if he can maintain, his athleticism, I think that he could really do some damage. So yeah, I completely agree with your pick. I think that he could be a really good player.
What about you, Romine? Who's your sleeper?
Yeah, come on, Romine.
Well, so I know you said we already kind of talked about the top 10, but a guy we didn't really talk about detail, like where I would put like right at the end of those top 5, Royce Freeman out of Oregon. He definitely had the look of a of a running back that could be successful in the NFL, and there has been some hype surrounding him. He's exciting, and if he's another guy, if he falls in the right situation, I feel like he could be a surprise and be, I don't know if like you want to comp him like, I don't even know, like a Kareem Hunt type as far as like fancy production goes, but say he gets drafted by a team where he's not the clear-cut starter and then an injury happens, like he's definitely has the skill set to be successful in the NFL, in my opinion.
He's got the body of like a big power back, but
yeah, he's got size.
He does not play football like a power back. He plays like a speed back, which is kind of shocking to a lot of defenses. I think that's why he was so successful at Oregon.
Wow. I'm just looking at his stats. My God.
Yeah, so he was awesome in college. He played, I think, all 4 seasons. So, I mean, he's very experienced.
He obviously got injured, I'm assuming, his junior year. But listen to these stats real quick. 1,300 yards, 18 touchdowns as a freshman. Then over 1,800 yards. This is just rushing. He also had let's see, did he have some? Yeah, he had some like 20 catches. So 300 yards a couple times. And then after that, he was injured, but in 11 games, put up 945 yards and 9 touchdowns. And by the way, the 2015, it was 17 touchdowns. Last year, over 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns. So, yeah, I mean, you're completely right. Like he could be.
Well, and like
be a difference maker.
He didn't blow anybody away in the combine. He had a pretty slow 40 time. And that can be good for your rookie drafts because that's what you're looking for. Like you're hoping that these guys fall towards the end of your first, into the second. These are the guys that you're not really talking about being hyped up that end up being those producers. Those are the ones that you want to take shots on. And maybe it's because I've been burnt by like Laquan Treadwells and like, I want to go after these guys because you may miss a few times in a row, but when you hit, it feels so good.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that I don't know if this is an across the board thing. I think that it's a little bit skewed because we are so running back heavy in our league. We're so running back heavy. And I think that we've all seen everybody getting burned by these wide receivers. So all of a sudden, our first round, it'll be 8 picks, is going to be all running backs. There's no way that it's going to be, no one's going to draft, Ridley. It's just not going to happen. So, but one of the things is that once you get to some of these guys, they're in a normal rookie draft, you could be looking at, you have Geis or Chubb, and then people are selecting, maybe Josh Rosen or something like that. In the, depending on how you're doing your draft, like most people still do snake. We don't, which I hate snakes. So, I mean, I prefer it the way. But I think that if you were able to get one of those guys and a Royce Freeman drops to you, you feel great. You feel absolutely fantastic because, any one of the guys that we've been talking about, well, not Bo Scarborough. He's
forget Bo Scarborough.
Forget about him. I mean, I probably should have picked somebody that's legitimately going to play. But yeah, no, I think that the two that you guys selected are ones that are kind of being overlooked right now. but I think that's good for your rookie draft. I think that's great because, could a Royce Freeman be equal to Darius Geis? Absolutely.
Right.
I don't think anybody's going to touch Barkley. I just don't.
No.
I think an injury is going to have to take him out for him not to be the best rookie and probably get rookie of the year. But the other guys are a drop down, and I think that those other guys could creep into that group. So, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Alex. But I do think that that's going to wrap up our show for tonight with running backs. It's fun. It's fun to talk about. I'm really excited. I know. I'm really excited for this draft, though. Like the next step is we find out where these guys land, and then the talks become real because you start putting those guys in situations. You start really seeing how it might work. And drafts are starting to happen. Like we have ours starting on Monday. Yeah. There are a lot of leagues that do their rookie drafts right around the time of the draft. So it's a very exciting time. And the NFL has done a good job with keeping itself relevant for a long period of time. I think it's, they release schedules tonight, which we could talk about that another day, but it's real. Like it's happening. The draft is next week, and we will find out which one of these guys are going to land in good spots, and things are going to change. We'll shake all the way up. So, like you said, it's not going to touch Barkley, but anybody else, it could change it. Next week, we will do wide receivers. So make sure you tune in. Like I said at the beginning of the show, hop on Twitter, follow us, 4 Horsemen Pod, send us emails, 4horsemenpod@gmail.com. And we will be back next week. It will probably be the 3 of us again. We'll try to get Van Cleve on, but listen, you got the 3 good ones, so count yourselves lucky. So
we don't have the most hair.
No. But we will talk to you guys next week. Peace.